You bought a performance car, something with power, with presence, with potential, something that makes you feel alive just looking at it in your driveway. You tell everyone you drive it, you post photos of it, you talk about how much you love it. But here's the question. When was the last time you actually let it breathe? When did you last take it past 5,000 RPM? When did you last find an empty road and really push it, trust it, let it do what it was built to do? You say you drive your car, but do you really? Or are you just transporting it from place to place, keeping it safe, protecting your investment, never letting it wake up and show you what it's capable of? Because if you're honest with yourself, you're not enjoying your car. You're babysitting it. Chapter 1. The Cage of Caution. You bought a machine built to perform, and you're driving it like it's made of glass. Every decision filtered through anxiety. Will this hurt the resale value? Will this add unnecessary miles? Will this cause wear I can't undo? You upshift at 3,000 RPM because pushing higher seems wasteful. You avoid spirited driving because there's no need to be reckless. You take corners at speeds that wouldn't challenge a minivan because being safe is being smart. And all the while, that beautiful engine, that carefully engineered chassis, that precisely tuned suspension sits there, waiting for you to actually use it. The car isn't fragile. You are. Not physically, but mentally. You've convinced yourself that preservation equals care, that keeping it perfect means loving it properly. But a performance car kept from performing isn't being preserved, it's being suffocated. Every time you shift early, every time you brake too soon, every time you refuse to let the engine sing, you're reinforcing a habit of restraint. You're teaching yourself that the car is something to protect rather than something to experience. And gradually, driving becomes an exercise in anxiety management rather than automotive enjoyment. Chapter 2. The fear dressed as responsibility. You tell yourself you're being sensible, responsible, mature. You're not one of those people who abuse their cars, who drive recklessly, who end up with repair bills and insurance claims. You're smarter than that. You know how to take care of your investment. But underneath all that rationalization is fear. Fear of making a mistake. Fear of pushing too hard. Fear of discovering the limits, either the car's or your own. Fear that if you really use the car the way it was meant to be used, something will go wrong and you'll regret it. So you create rules. No more than 70 on the highway. No launches, even gentle ones. No hard braking unless it's an emergency. No aggressive cornering. Each rule feels reasonable in isolation, but together, they form a cage that prevents you from ever actually experiencing what you bought. The irony is, these rules don't protect the car. They protect your ego. Because as long as you never push the car, you never have to confront whether you actually know how to drive it. You never have to test your skills. You never have to feel the uncomfortable sensation of being on the edge of your abilities. Chapter 3. The Myth of the Perfect Moment. You tell yourself you'll really drive it when the conditions are perfect. When you have a clear Sunday morning with empty roads, when the weather is ideal, when you've got nothing else on your mind, when you're completely comfortable with the car's limits. But that perfect moment never comes. There's always traffic, or the pavement's a little damp, or you're tired, or you just don't feel like pushing it today. The right moment to really drive your car is always tomorrow, always next weekend, always after one more thing. Meanwhile, the car sits in your garage, depreciating whether you drive it or not, aging whether you use it or not, getting closer to needing maintenance whether you push it or not. The perfect moment you're waiting for is costing you the imperfect moments you could be having right now. This is how people own sports cars for years and never once feel what they're actually capable of. Not because they lack opportunity, but because they're waiting for permission that will never come. Permission from themselves to stop treating a driving machine like a museum piece. Chapter 4. What you're actually missing. There's a feeling you get when you properly drive a car, not recklessly, not dangerously, but deliberately. When you hold a gear to redline and feel the engine's full character reveal itself. When you brake hard and feel the ABS chattering under your foot, working to keep you in control. When you take a corner at the right speed and feel the chassis compress, communicate, come alive, under you. That feeling is what you paid for. Not the badge, not the looks, not the ability to say you own a performance car. The feeling of mechanical symphony, of physics in motion, of man and machine working together at the edge of their capabilities. But you'll never feel it driving the way you do. You'll never understand what your car is actually saying if you never let it speak above a whisper. You'll never develop the skills that make driving truly satisfying if you never practice them. You'll never build the confidence that comes from knowing your limits if you never approach them. The car you own is capable of giving you moments of pure, transcendent joy, moments where everything else falls away and it's just you, the machine, and the road having a conversation at a level most people never experience. But those moments require risk. Not dangerous risk, but the risk of trying, of pushing, of being uncomfortable for a while until you're not. Chapter 5. The permission you need. So here it is, the permission you've been waiting for. Drive your car. Really drive it. Not to impress anyone, not to set records, not to be reckless, but to actually use the thing you spent so much money on for its intended purpose. Find an empty road, a safe environment, a track day if you can, and let the engine scream. Feel what happens past 6,000 RPM, past 7,000, all the way to redline. Experience what the engineers spent years perfecting. Let the car do what it was designed to do. Yes, it will add miles. Yes, it will cause wear. Yes, brake pads and tires will need replacing sooner. But that's not damage. That's use. That's the car fulfilling its purpose. A performance car driven hard is living its best life. A performance car kept pristine and undriven is slowly dying of neglect. The resale value argument is a trap. You're sacrificing years of potential joy to protect the value for someone else's future enjoyment. You're paying depreciation while extracting none of the experience. You're renting space in your garage to a machine that exists to be driven. Stop waiting for the perfect moment. Stop treating your car like it's made of porcelain. Stop convincing yourself that restraint equals respect. The car doesn't want your protection. It wants your participation. The engine wants to rave-y. The brakes want to work. The tires want to find their limits. The chassis wants to communicate, and you want to experience all of it. You just haven't admitted it yet. So drive your car. Drive it like you mean it. Drive it like it deserves. Drive it the way the engineers intended when they spent thousands of hours making sure it could handle everything you're too afraid to ask of it. Because one day, that car will be gone, sold, traded, totaled, or simply worn out. And when it's gone, you won't remember the times you shifted at 3,000 RPM to save the engine. You won't cherish the memories of driving slowly to preserve the tires. You'll remember the moments you let it rip, the corners you nailed, the times you felt truly connected to the machine, the drives where you finally understood what you bought and why it matters. Stop babysitting. Start driving. The car has been waiting for you this whole time.